Great morning, you guys. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Y'all, come on in and let's talk about it. Listen, I'm gonna let y'all get in here because this one, yeah, yeah. I gotta share some stuff with y'all. My God. It is Saturday morning and God is talking. Y'all let me know who's here and where you're tuning in from. Let me know who's here and where you're tuning in from. This is gonna bless you. Hey, you guys. Hey, y'all. Hey, what y'all doing? How you doing? Well, how you doing? All right. So let me just say this. Not only is God getting ready to bust you over the head, he's busting me over the head too. Like it's not a thing where this is just about you. This is me too. Okay. Yeah, what? Listen, I'm trying to see these shadows, honey. That shadow didn't look cute, honey. Look like I got a whole mustache. I might have a little bit, but y'all come on in, come on in. Listen, let me know who's here and where you're tuning in from. Who's here and where you're tuning in from. We're gonna get into this word. Y'all literally like for the past 3 nights, God has just been going in on me. Like going in. I'm like, God, what in the world is going on? I've not been able to really sleep. He's been talking to me. Like, I'm like, God, can you let me rest? I just want to rest. Can I just sleep? Can I just do that? Nope, you can't. Look, God is literally getting ready to bust us over the head because we're not listening. We're not listening. If you're in that place where God has told you to do something and you did part of it, you didn't do all of it, like you ain't totally done it, like if you're in that place, listen, I'm just gonna give you a heads up. He's gonna bust you over the head, right? He's gonna bust you over the head. Listen, how do I know? Because he's been doing it to me. Look, when I tell you that last night I was like, what in the world is going on? I'm just like, oh my God, this is crazy. Hey, Tamar. She said, good morning. Thanks for your prayers. Last week, my ex is now begging me for help. He was found guilty. He can appeal. Amen. It's always my pleasure to pray. I mean, that's what we do. I don't believe in someone requesting prayers and you be like, I'm going to pray for you later. Like, listen, time was of the essence. And I did what I do. I prayed. So you didn't have to wonder if I prayed. I prayed because I prayed live. Okay. But look, yes. Hey, Kim from Delaware. What's going on, girl? Kim, God busted me over the head last night. Y'all look. So let me tell y'all. I'm not gonna go into all of the specifics, but this is what I'm gonna tell y'all. So last night I had a dream. The dream disturbed me. The dream disturbed me. I woke up and God said, okay. I text my cousin. I was like, cousin, are you up? She was not. Hey, Pastor Jay, what's going on? Waterloo, Jamaica in the building. Come on, man. So, I said to my cousin, she wasn't up. God said, I'm getting ready to talk to you about this dream. I said, oh, here he go. Y'all, I don't mean no harm, but God and we have this relationship where, like, I love God, but he be saying stuff I don't be wanting to hear. I be like, can you, sir, just leave me alone for a minute? Can you just, can we just pause for a second? He's like, no, because I told you. You heard what I said. Like, but God, listen. He's like, no, you heard what I said. So last night, early this morning, was one of those times. He woke me up. I had a dream. The dream was very poignant. I woke up distressed from the dream. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. But he definitely was talking. And so I was like, okay, then God. Okay, okay. Okay, then God. Like, what you saying? What you saying? He was like, this is what I'm saying. When God tells you this is what I'm saying, so you don't have to guess what he's saying. This is what I'm saying. I'm saying what I'm saying. Why are you looking for something behind that? There's not some deep. hidden meaning. I'm telling you what I'm telling you. Why are you trying to make it something that it's not? I'm telling you what I'm telling you. Y'all, and I don't know if y'all have ever had a moment like that where God told you something and you knew for certain what he said, but you just didn't want to hear it. So you said, "What do you mean?" Have y'all ever done that? If you've ever done that, say me. If you ever done that, say me, me, me. Let me know if y'all have ever done that. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the only one who's ever done that. But like sometimes God be saying stuff and I don't want to hear it. I'm just being real with y'all. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I didn't ask you for that, sir. I didn't ask you for that. Did I ask you for that? I didn't call upon your name for that. Okay. But he gives it to you anyway. So when you understand that, you'll understand that when God busts us over the head, it's to push us into purpose and into destiny. And there may be something that is interfering with that. And if there's something that's interfering with that, he's going to move it out of the way. He's going to require you to move it out of the way, or he's going to move it out of the way he wants to move it out of the way. And you don't want him to move it out of the way. So I say all that to say, thank you for your honesty, Kim. Okay, because I know I ain't the only one out here in these streets that done been in that position, that predicament where you like God done said something and you didn't want to hear it, and then here we go. Like, what, God, what? So that's where we are. We're in a place where time is of the essence, and God just is not playing with us. He's not playing with us because purpose has to be fulfilled, destiny has to be fulfilled. So we've got to understand that this is not the time to back up. It's not the time to quit. It's not the time to faint. It's not the time to give up. It's not the time for any of that. This is the time for us to fully go in, to fully get invested in what God is doing in this season, in our lives in particular, but in the earth, period. See, the word of God says the earth moans and groans for the Son of God to arise, right? He's waiting for us to arise, and our failure to arise means that there are things that are not happening because we are not doing what we're supposed to do. We're not in position. We're not saying what he says. We're not going where he says go. Like, all of these things are things that interfere with God's ability for his plan to unfold on the earth. Why? Because we are his hands and his feet. We are the vessels that he used. Could he wave a magic wand and make it happen? Could he speak and make it happen? He absolutely could. But that's not how he created this thing. He created this thing for us to be active, willing participants in the building of the kingdom of God, right? We are active participants. We're not just pieces on the board, like literally, but he will allow situations to arise for us to move in certain ways, okay? So he needs us. He does. He wants us. He needs us. He wants us. Now, could he do it without us? He could, but according to his grand design, we were created to be an active part of what transpires. So when God busts you over the head, that's not the time to um quit. That's the time to say, okay, God. Like, I had to say, okay, God. I've been talking about obedience. That's that obedience thing, you know? But can we be honest about why we're not obedient sometimes? Can we talk about that for a minute? Like, why we're not obedient sometimes? This is some real talk, and this may just be me. I don't want to put this on everybody, but I'm just going to talk about me for a second. Sometimes my lack of obedience is really rooted in fear. Um, Fear that it won't turn out right. Fear that somehow I'll disappoint God, even though we know that God loves us no matter what. Fear that God's plan won't work. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but have you ever felt like you keep hearing about God's plan and he's told you his plan, but you feel like, I don't think that's ever going to happen. Like, is that going to happen for real? Is that going to happen for me? So we began to back up, or we began to sabotage, or we began to um, look to other situations to take our attention off of it. We build our own distractions so that we don't have to focus on it. I don't know what this thing is that God is doing with me in this season, but I know that it's pretty huge. And it's a little scary to me. Okay. It's a lot of scary to me. Um, but I know I gotta do it. I'm talking to you, sissy. I'm talking to me first. I know I gotta do it. I know I gotta do it. It seems like what he's requiring of me is to address all of the stuff that has kind of held me hostage. It's like he's pulling everything up and requiring me to face it, look at it, deal with it, heal from it. And I think that's what he really wants is us to just heal so that we don't allow the remnants, the um, vestiges, the leftover residue from different traumas that we've experienced to hold us back any longer or taint our vision or make us feel away, sometimes the things that we've experienced affect how we view the world, changes the color of our lenses, the prescription of our lenses. And we don't even realize that it's been changed. We think that we're seeing through normal lenses, but we're not. The lenses adjusted because they were trying to make up for the deficits in what you were seeing or experiencing. And so now, as we heal, it's just like a person with glasses. When your eyesight gets better, your prescription has to change. When your eyesight gets better, your prescription has to change. And so changing the prescription means that um, it changes how you view things, how you see things, how things look. It's going to be different because you've been looking through skewed glasses. Your vision has been tainted. And so now God gotta bust us upside our head, bust our heads, right? For us to get it. Like, don't you get it? And I'm like, I get it, but you just asking a lot. You just be asking a lot. Like, oh, sir, what do you want from me? And the answer is always the same. I want you, all of you. It's so funny how we can want someone else to want all of us. But when God says he wants all of us, it becomes a problem because we want to hold on to something to give some semblance of control. Listen, I know my life looks like, oh, Dr. V, she's just so obedient. She does everything God says. I don't. Like, there's some pieces of this puzzle that I'm struggling with, and he's dealing with me on it. But I'm just telling y'all that he busted me over the head last night. He busted me over the head. Sir, really? This how you gotta do it in my dream, vivid and technicolor. And what 4K? You gotta bust me over the head in 4K for me to see it. But then he's so loving because then he told me what it meant. This is what I'm trying to tell you. You know, I want you to avoid some things. So this is how you avoid it. Just listen to me. Now he does know the end from the beginning, so it seems like it would just make sense to just listen to him, go on, listen to him, do what he say. But I do like I don't want to do. But I got to. I've got to, or I'm going to experience some stuff that I didn't have to experience. I'm going to experience some traumas that he's trying to prevent me from experiencing. Like he trying to protect me. Whole time he trying to protect me. I'm trying to just do what I want to do or do it my way. It's not going to happen like that. So when you discover that, you know, you have to say, okay, God, you've got this. You know the desires of my heart. So I'm giving this to you. So meanwhile, I'm not going to keep trying to pick it up. I'm going to leave it with you, and I'm going to do what you said, which is difficult, um, but necessary. It's difficult but necessary. I had a conversation um, with one of my exes, and we were talking, and I was talking about his growth and how he'd grown, and how proud I was of him. And this wasn't an ex-husband. This is the one that should have been a husband but wasn't. But we were talking about how he's grown and how proud I am of him. And that was probably one of the hardest relationships for me. Um, but to see where he is today compared to where he was when we dated, and I'm not saying that it was all bad. It wasn't. It definitely wasn't all bad. But to see his growth, like, says so much. But he said something. And today I find myself thinking about what he said because it was so poignant and it was so right. And I'm gonna have to let him know that. Um, even though he already know. Um, but it made me think about something. God will often use those, and I want y'all to hear me. God will often use those relationships from our past to mend our brokenness in our present. And I'm not saying go back to old relationships. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying lessons from those relationships will often mend what's going on in the present, because sometimes what you're doing and what's going on in the present is affected by those things of the past. And when you identify those things and you're able to fix them, then you're able to move forward in a different kind of way. You're able to move forward in a way that um, gives God glory and brings you security. I was having a conversation with my cousin, and we were talking about insecurity in relationships. And I'm not just naturally an insecure person. I'm just not. Like, I'm just not. But I was talking about that relationship in particular. And I said, I found myself insecure. And so we were talking about, where does insecurity come from? And it's easy for us to think that insecurity comes from the actions of others, but really what their actions do is trigger the insecurities that are already there. Like, no one else can make you secure. They can't. Their actions can trigger some things from your past. And those things from your past um, that produced insecurity. And I would wager you probably have a insecure attachment from childhood. So when you have an insecure attachment from childhood, an insecure attachment, it's either going to be um, one where you are insecure. Hold on, because I want to say it right. Because there are two types of insecure attachments. And um, hold on, y'all. Let me look it up. Okay. So with the attachments, so the insecure attachment um are rooted in it can be avoidant. And with avoidant, so it's based on the fact that your caregiver left you, and you didn't know if they were coming back. And so what you did is, when they come back, you don't want to be bothered with them. Don't touch me. You don't want to be bothered. Okay. It can be ambivalent, like like you're back and forth. You like, it's insecure, but you're angry. You're um anxious. Like, it creates anxiety, right? The avoidant attachment, you're not explorative, you're emotionally distant, so you distance yourself, right? And then the other one, um, hold on, so one, you'll draw the person to you and then push them away. One, you just push them away. One, you're like, I don't care if you're here or not. Okay. and then there's the secure attachment. A lot of times what happens in our relationships, our romantic relationships, is rooted in our attachment style from childhood. So as an infant, how you attached matters. Okay. So if there was a secure attachment, you're generally going to be pretty secure in relationships. You're going to, hold on, be explorative, be happy. You're going to give people freedom. You're not going to try to box them in. But that's because you have a secure attachment style. Now, when you don't have that secure attachment style in childhood, what happens is, unless you deal with that, then you're going to find yourself as an adult operating from insecure attachment approaches, right? Whether it be ambivalent, or avoidant or disorganized. Like, you're going to be operating from an attachment style that is not productive in your relationship. It means that you're going to be anxious. See, when you start getting anxious, something's been triggered. Something's been triggered. Like, something in you has been triggered. Like, I remember this. I felt this before. Something like this happened before, and that's triggered. So listen, God in his infinite wisdom, my God, God in his infinite wisdom, in his attempts to make us whole, right, will allow triggers to come. Those triggers are designed to say, hey, you need to deal with this. That's what triggers are. Triggers say, hey, you need to deal with this. Now, we think people should avoid our triggers, but no, triggers help us identify what we need to deal with. It's not the other person's responsibility to fix it. It's our job to address it. But what they can do is, there are ways that they can assist us as we are going through that process. And see, I think that's the key. It's like the debate about the daddy that took McDonald's for one child and the woman had three other kids. Okay. Was it his responsibility to feed her other kids? No, it wasn't his responsibility. He wasn't responsible for that. But him bringing McDonald's for the one child could trigger some things for the other children, so that they feel like, well, what's wrong with me? Why don't I deserve McDonald's? See, this is the kind of stuff that creates childhood trauma. Now that man ain't thinking about childhood trauma. He's just thinking about his son liked this from McDonald's. Let me grab this for him and drop it off, right? So he's not thinking about what's happening with the other kids, because they're not his concern. His concern is his child. But the mother's concern has to be all of the children, because all of the children are with her. They're all hers, even though only one is his. So when we understand that our attachment styles, those childhood traumas, those things affect you in your adult life and in your adult relationships, then we'll understand that we got to look at some stuff. We got to face some stuff. We got to deal with some stuff. We got to heal from some stuff. And it is in that healing place where things are going to come up. You're going to have things triggered. It's going to come up, but it's coming up not to hurt you, not to harm you, not to destroy you, not to make you feel vulnerable, not to make you feel anxious, but to cause you to face something that you've not wanted to face. Because failure to face it could surface at another time when it is even more crucial. My God, today. Okay, God, I hear you. Listen, if you don't deal with the things of your past, if you don't deal with those hidden traumas and triggers, when God sends you the one for you, those things could very well be the things that interfere with your ability to build and to develop a healthy relationship with that person. Deal with the stuff that you can deal with now. Deal with the stuff that you can deal with now. It's some stuff you can deal with now. You can deal with it. You choose not to. When those triggers come up, deal with them, face them, look them in the eye. Hey, sissy, how you doing, beautiful? Look them in the eye. I gave this counsel to a young woman. I said, baby, listen, never let your security and your confidence in who you are be rooted in a man, his actions, his words, his presence, or his absence. When you know who you are, when you know who you are, you will be able to move differently. But sometimes you may find yourself in a situation where a person triggers those anxieties. Why would that trigger your anxiety? So this is what God told me. Okay. I'm going to get, this is going to be a little intimate. Okay. Right, sis. Um, so in my life, this is what I realized as it relates to marriage. Okay. This does not cast dispersion on anyone I've ever married. Okay. I need y'all to understand this. All of them are good men, and great men for some woman, right? Not great men for me. Okay. Um, I tended to marry men who wanted me. Not that I didn't want them, not that I didn't love them. I did, but it wasn't that all encompassing love. If I be honest, it wasn't that all encompassing love. The one man, this sounds horrible, but it's the truth. The one man that I had that like all encompassing love for, we never got married. Um, and I think what it did was it produced this kind of fear that made me want to go with the safer option. Does that make sense? Um, the safer option is the one that is your sure thing. It's the one that you know is there. Like that they want you. You know that they're into you. You know that you could have them. Like that, right? It's not so much that you want them like that, but it's that they want you like that. The safer option, because the other option creates anxiety, right? Because when you were in like that before, it didn't work out. He cheated. Um, he was seeing two of you at the same time. And if you've ever been in a situation where a man has been seeing you and someone else, um, it can cause you to feel like you got to outperform or overperform or whatever, right? Or a woman is seeing two men, same thing, right? So you got to know who you are, period, right? You got to know who you are and know that what God is doing, what God is doing, um, what God is doing is greater than, greater than, greater than what, Dr. V? Greater than your fears, greater than your anxiety, greater than your insecurities, greater than the fact that you didn't have the attachment that you desired with your daddy or your mama, or your caregiver, whoever that was, um, greater than um, the pastors that told you that your gift wasn't from God, or that wasn't God, or you weren't hearing God. Like, y'all, we have all of these things greater than those who told you growing up that you were never going to be anything, that you couldn't go to college, you were too dumb, that you stupid, greater than those who said that you weren't attractive, that you weren't beautiful, that you weren't handsome, greater than those who said that you couldn't do it, whatever it was. Greater than those business deals that didn't work, those times that you went in and it didn't work, like greater than all of that. Because at the end of the day, if we are really being honest, all of our fear is rooted in our insecurity. There's an insecurity somewhere that keeps raising its head. And once you identify that insecurity, you identify that tender place, that place that's very sensitive, that place that you don't even like to look at, talk about. You thought you were over it. Listen, and we have it, men and women have it. Okay. So, women, I don't want you to think men don't have it. So, we've got to understand that they have those places too. So, we got to be careful with them. And when we're careful with them, then we can allow them to heal. I mean, you got to be careful with us. So what does that mean? It means that we got healing to do. That healing is crucial to our movement forward. Now you can say, well, Dr. V, what does that have to do with the kingdom? Everything. You know why? Because the same way we get with people and situations is the way we get with God. God tells us to do something, we don't do it. Why don't we do it? We've got fear. Fear it's not going to work. Fear we're not going to be good enough. Fear we're not going to do it right. Fear of what people are going to say. Fear of this, fear of that. We've got fear. Fear that it's going to be too big for us. Fear of success, like, oh my God, so what happens if I'm successful? And then what do I do? Fear, fear, fear. What's up, Mike? John Michael. So until we confront that fear, we can't fully operate to full capacity in our destiny. You know, destiny requires a certain level of fearlessness and a certain level of courage, right? They're two different things. Fearlessness is those areas of your life where you ain't scared of nothing. Like you gonna go all in on that. Like I've got those areas in my life, right? Those areas where like I'm like, bam, what? I already know, boo. I already know. You can't tell me nothing. Can't nobody tell me nothing. You can't tell me like period. But then there are those areas where there's some fear. And when I move in those areas, it requires courage. Courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is the ability to move forward in spite of the fear. The fear is there. You feel it. You recognize it, but you say, you're not going to stop me. And you got to push through it. So we've got some stuff that we need to do because God's about to bust us upside the head. He's about to bust our head. He's about to bust our head. And I don't mean literally, but I mean he'll make the pressure so much. You're going to be like, God. He's going to be like, boom, boom, boom. He'd be like, oh, I don't want to do it. I don't want to. Avoid it by identifying what's preventing you from doing what it is that God has called you to do. What's preventing you from believing in you? What's preventing you from seeing yourself as God sees you? That's fearfully and wonderfully made. You know, we put a lot of emphasis on the physical. Um, and the physical is a part of our existence. But what's also an even greater part of our existence is our spirit. We're spirits housed in a body, right? And so society makes us feel like something's wrong with the body that we were born in. But God chose it. God chose the body that we would have, right? When He put our parents together, like for whatever period of time, He knew how you would look. And the Word of God says that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. We don't all look the same. We don't have all the same noses or eyes or lips or body types or, we don't all have the same teeth. I got a gap, right? I see my gap. There are people who close their gaps because they feel more confident with a closed gap, right? There are people who keep their gap, right? Who's right? Who's wrong? I believe that we have to make those determinations for ourselves. I'm fine with my gap, you know? Like I embrace my gap. I love my gap, but it wasn't always so. You understand? I remember being a child wishing my teeth were all together. They weren't, right? Then I discover, oh, my gap runs in my family. You understand? Like those things. So, y'all, look, don't require God to bust you upside your head no more than He got to. Because listen, I'm about tired of him hitting me upside my head. Didn't I tell? Didn't I tell? Didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you? I said, don't do that. Don't do it. I be like, he's as nice as he can for as long as he can be. then his tone changes with us. And I know when when he's upset with me, when he's upset with me, when he's frustrated with me, I know that, right? Because his tone changes with me. And because I hear him, and I don't hear an audible voice, but because I hear him, and he talks to me a certain kind of way. There's a way he talks to me when, I'm doing good, blah, blah, blah. And it's a way he talks to me when, okay, you getting off track. Okay, I need you to come back over this way. Okay, I need you to do this. Like that's how he is, right? Normally, until he's done that for a while and he says, "Didn't I tell you?" And I'll be like, "Well, why you gotta be all hard with me?" Because you're not listening. Listen to me and do what I told you. And I'll be like, "But you don't have to talk mean to me. You do what I said." He don't play with me, right? There are times when he's gentle, there's times when he's harsh, you know, but the harshness is for my own good. It's just like with your kids. When tell them something, you tell them something, you tell them something, and then something, you say, "I told you," you're like, you trying to snatch them out of the road because the car comes, and you snatch, you're like, "Why are you snatching me? You hurt my arm." Okay, it was either hurt your arm or let you get run over by a car. I'ma hurt your arm, okay? That's how God is. He is that parent that desires to protect us. And some of us are getting ready to step out into oncoming traffic. And we don't even know we're stepping out into oncoming traffic until we're hit and then we're injured and damaged. And we're trying to figure out what happened. God about to bust your head because he needs you to get it. You're not getting it. We're not. We're not getting it. We're not. We're not. It's not a game. Yes, Mike. He chastises those that he loves. If you never get chastised, what? I don't know, y'all. I don't have all the answers, but this is what I do know. I know that healing becomes key. That attachment style becomes key. And I know that our security in relationships can never be about the other person. It has to be about us. Because when you're confident in who you are, you won't allow people to make you feel away or allow situations to cause you anxiety. Like you'll deal with that. Okay. You'll deal with that. And that's why we're doing these retreats. This retreat is so important. Like it is so imperative that we get healing, that we really get it. Oh, let me fix this. So we have to allow God to do that. Heal us, man. So I don't know. I don't know about you. I just know this. I know that this healing work is huge for me right now. I know that it's where God has me. Um, I know that He wants me to help people see this and understand this by my vulnerability. It's my vulnerability, y'all, because when I share stuff like this with you all, it makes me vulnerable. I'm opening up my life, my heart, my experiences to you. And I had someone tell me, they said, you should be careful and not open yourself up because people can use it against you. Listen, if you choose to use it against me, that's your prerogative, right? You'll deal with God on that. That's not my job. Now, see, this isn't involved, Dr. V, because there was a time when you can use it against me if you want to. I'm gonna get you, right? But that's not what God is doing. Not in this season. So for those of you who want to attend the retreat, it's July 28th through the 30th or the 30th through August 1st here in Columbia, South Carolina. Until Sunday at midnight, it is $350 for the entire retreat, right? It was 700. Listen, God cut my prices a lot, but it was 700. He said, cut it in half, give them a chance. Okay. So to Sunday at midnight, it's $350. You all, if you want information on it, put heal in the comments, put heal in the comments or inbox me and I'll get you that information, the link so that you can do it. Later on today, I'll probably put up a post that will allow you to just tap into that. Afterpay is available. You can use Afterpay to pay for it. Or if you can't do the 350, you can go ahead and secure your spot with a deposit. Limited seating, limited space, only 15 women per session, only 15 women per session. And know this, know that what God is doing in this season is designed, I promise you, it's designed to get you to destiny. Who wants to go to destiny? Who wants their destiny? Like who like really wants their destiny? Who wants their destiny? If that's you, say destiny, 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 destiny. Put destiny in the comments. Put destiny in the comments. Who wants their destiny? Because I'm convinced that if you want your destiny more than you want to be comfortable, then you'll go through what you need to go through in order to get to the other side. It's all about what you do. Who wants their destiny? I know I want mine. I want mine. I want my destiny. I listen, I've gone through too much hell not to get to it. Mm, mm. Not supposed to be comfortable. Come on now. Come on. Listen, I'm telling you. I'm telling y'all, listen, listen, listen. Y'all, this thing is serious. And look, I want to congratulate Monica Whitley. Monica Monica just finished. She finished her book. It's up. It's for sale. It's available on Amazon. Y'all go support her. It's a book of poems. Baby, listen. I read a couple of them last night. If you didn't see my live last night, you can check it out. But support her, just because. Support her. Um, God is doing incredible things in this season, and I know that it is for our good and not for our harm. Now, listen. If this word blessed you and you want to sow a seed, you definitely can do that at Cash App $ DRV Walters, Cash App $DRV Walters. If you want to purchase a copy of Forward Focus 21, we're going to be getting ready for a new fast. I'm excited about that. If you want to purchase a copy of Forward Focus 21, send $25 and your email address, and your email and your address to um, just you can put it in the comments of the Cash App. Good morning, Sissy. How are you, gorgeous? Make sure you go download my sister's music, her song, Warning. Girl, that's right, sis. Warning. I think that's right. The warning. Listen, put Marquita Shine in. Go follow her. Follow Marquita Shine music. Um, support her, support what she's doing. She's doing some amazing things. Girl, my mind this morning, girl. You got to girl, you got to bear with me. But go support her, support her music. Listen, I'm about support. Y'all, let's support each other. Like, let's support each other. That's what life is about. Let's support each other and know that God is God all by himself. Again, the retreat is July 30th, 28th through the 30th, or the 30th through August 1st, right here in Columbia, South Carolina. $350 until Sunday midnight. After that, it goes back to $700. Go ahead, get your spot, secure your spot. You can secure that spot for $350, pay it total. Or you can pay your deposit to secure your spot so that you can make sure that you're able to be there. I love you too, sissy. Um, I don't know, y'all. All I know is this: not doing what God says is not an option. So we got to figure it out. Because if you like me, you tired of them head punches. God, wait. Remember how your parents would be like, they might do you like that. Well, y'all parents might not have done that, but somebody in your family just do like that. You'd be like, didn't I tell you? I'm just talking about how God deal with me. I'm just talking about me. I'm different. Okay. So he's loving, caring, compassionate, and all of that. But sometimes he'd be like, didn't I tell you? What? Look, I love you guys to life and life more abundant. Have an amazing, incredible, and epic day. I pray God's blessings upon you. I pray that your best days ahead of you and your worst days are behind you. In fact, not only do I pray it, I declare it over your life. I declare that everything your hands touch prosper and every place your feet tread, that God has already given you the dominion to walk in it. I pray and declare that your worst days are behind you, your best days are ahead of you, and that the promises of God are yea and amen. And that his word It won't return void, but it will accomplish everything that is sent forth to accomplish in your life. You got an exceedingly and abundantly above all that you could think or ask blessing waiting for you. It's on the other side. On the other side of what? Your obedience. I love you guys. Be blessed. Mwah.